Jake Morrison stood on the viewing deck of Earth Station Alpha. He watched the massive alien ship grow larger in the black space outside. The ship was nothing like the movies showed. It looked like a giant crystal mixed with metal. Strange lights moved across its surface like water. His golden retriever Buddy sat next to him. The dog's tail wagged as he looked out the window. Buddy did not understand what was happening. He just knew his human was nervous. "Easy boy," Jake said. He petted Buddy's soft fur. "Today we meet our new neighbors." Jake was Earth's first contact. Officer. The government chose him because he stayed calm under pressure. He had been a soldier before this job. He knew how to talk to different kinds of people. But today he would talk to beings from other worlds. The alien ship docked with the station. Jake heard the airlock systems working. He took a deep breath and walked toward the meeting room. Buddy followed close behind. Dr. Lisa Carter was already waiting in the room. She was Earth's best scientist who studied life forms. She had worked for years to prepare for this day. Her hands shook a little as she checked her notes. "Are you ready for this?" she asked Jake. "As ready as anyone can be," Jake said. "At least we know they can breathe our air." The airlock door opened with a soft hiss. The first alien stepped through. Jake tried not to stare, but it was hard. The creature looked like a tall lizard that walked on two legs. Its skin was dark green with silver marks. Its eyes were bright yellow and very large. Behind the lizard being came three more aliens. One looked like it was made of living crystal. Light moved through its body like blood. Another looked like a giant insect with too many arms. The last one was strangest of all. It seemed to be made of pure energy inside a clear suit. The lizard alien spoke first. Its voice was deep and rough. "I am Ambassador Zektar of the Zephyrian Empire. We represent the Galactic Coalition." Jake stepped forward. "Welcome to Earth. I am Captain Jake Morrison. This is Dr. Lisa Carter." Zektar looked down at Buddy. The dog had moved closer to sniff the aliens. His tail still wagged. "What is this? Creature? Is it your offspring?" Jake smiled. "No, this is Buddy. He is my dog. Dogs are companions to humans." The crystal being made a sound like breaking glass. "You brought a biological entity to a diplomatic meeting?" "Buddy is harmless," Jake said. "He is friendly." The insect alien clicked its mouthparts together. "We do not understand." "What purpose does this creature serve?" Dr. Lisa stepped in to help. "Dogs are domesticated animals. They live with us. They are our friends." Zektar's yellow eyes grew wider. "Friends? With a lower life form?" "Dogs are not lower," Jake said. His voice got harder. "They are different, but they are smart and loyal." Buddy walked up to Zektar. The dog sniffed the alien's scaly leg. Then Buddy sat down and looked up at the tall alien. His tail thumped on the floor. Zektar jumped back. "Keep that thing away from me." The energy being spoke in a voice like wind chimes. "This behavior is very strange. Why do you waste resources on non-productive creatures?" "They are not waste," Jake said. "Dogs help us. They guard our homes. They help us hunt. They save lives." "But surely you have machines for such tasks," the crystal being said. "We do," Dr. Lisa said. "But dogs do more than work. They give us joy. They love us." All four aliens looked confused. They talked to each other in strange languages. Jake could not understand the words, but he could tell they were not happy. Zektar turned back to the humans. "This is very primitive behavior. Advanced species do not form emotional bonds with animals." Jake felt his face get hot. "Maybe that makes us different, not primitive." "Perhaps," Zektar said. But his tone said he did not believe it. "Let us discuss more important matters." "Your planet wishes to join the Galactic Coalition." "Yes," Dr. Lisa said. We want to learn from other worlds. We want to share what we know. The insect alien made clicking sounds. What can a primitive world offer the galaxy? We have art, music, and stories, Jake said. We have new ideas about science. And dogs, Dr. Lisa added with a smile. The aliens looked at each other again. Zektar shook his big head. We will consider your request. But you must understand something. The galaxy is dangerous. There are threats you cannot imagine. Species that keep useless biotoys do not usually survive long. Buddy had been listening to the conversation. He did not understand the words, but he felt the tension in the room. He walked over to Jake and pressed against his leg. Jake reached down to pet him. Buddy is not useless, Jake said quietly. We shall see, Zektar said. Your provisional membership will be decided by the council. Do not expect too much. The crystal being spoke up. Your species shows promise in some areas. But this attachment to animals is concerning. Why? Dr. Lisa asked. It shows weakness, the energy being said. Emotional bonds make poor decisions. Logic should rule. Jake looked at Buddy. The dog looked back at him with brown eyes full of trust and love. Sometimes the heart knows things the mind does not. Zektar made a sound like a laugh, but not a nice one. Primitive thinking. Your toy dog will not help you when real danger comes. The meeting continued for 2 more hours. The aliens asked many questions about Earth. They seemed interested in human technology and resources. But they kept making jokes about humans and their pets. When the meeting ended, the aliens returned to their ship. Jake and Dr. Lisa watched. Them go. That could have gone better, Dr. Lisa said. Jake petted Buddy's head. They do not understand us yet. Maybe they will learn. Or maybe they are right, Dr. Lisa said. Maybe we are too emotional. Jake looked at his dog. Buddy had been patient during the long meeting. He had been brave around the strange aliens. He had shown only friendship, even when they were mean. No, Jake said. They are wrong about us. And they are wrong about dogs. As their ship left the station, Jake wondered what the aliens would decide. Would Earth be welcome in the galaxy? Or would humanity be left alone because they loved their animal friends? Buddy wagged his tail and licked Jake's hand. Whatever happened, they would face it together. 3 months had passed since the aliens left Earth. Jake Morrison sat in his office reading reports from space. The news was not good. Strange signals were coming from all over the galaxy. Something bad was happening out there. Buddy lay on the floor next to Jake's desk. The dog had grown used to the quiet office work. But today he seemed restless. He kept lifting his head and looking around. Dogs could sense things humans could not. Dr. Lisa Carter ran into the office without knocking. Her face was pale and scared. Jake, you need to see this right now. She turned on the big screen on the wall. The image showed Ambassador Zektar, but he looked very different from before. His green scales were dull and gray. His yellow eyes were wide with fear. People of Earth, Zektar said in his rough voice, the galaxy is in great danger. A race called the Devourers has returned. They bring death to every world they touch. Jake stood up from his chair. What are Devourers? Dr. Lisa shook her head. I don't know, but look at him. I have never seen a Zephyrian look so afraid. On the screen, Zektar continued his message. The Devourers create biotitans. These are living weapons bigger than your largest cities. They eat everything. Plants, animals, even the ground itself. The image changed to show a massive creature. It looked like a giant worm mixed with a spider. It had hundreds of legs and a mouth full of sharp teeth. The thing was crawling across a dead planet. Nothing grew where it had been. My home world is gone, Zektar said. His voice cracked with pain. Zephyria is no more. The Biotitan ate our greatest cities in one day. Buddy whined softly. Even though he could not understand the words, he felt the sadness in the alien's voice. Commander Alex Turner walked into the office. He was the head of Earth's defense force. His German shepherd Rex followed close behind. Rex was trained for military work, but he was also Alex's best friend. "How bad is it?" Alex asked. "Bad," Dr. Lisa said. She changed the channel to show more. News from space. The Kresh Hive worlds went silent yesterday. All of them. Billions of insect beings just gone. "What about the crystal people?" Jake asked. "The Vortani sent one last message," Dr. Lisa said. "Their crystal cities are melting. The Biotitans make acid that dissolves everything." Alex sat down hard in a chair. Rex put his head on his human's knee. "How many species are left?" "We don't know," Dr. Lisa said. "The communication networks are breaking down. Ships are fleeing. In all directions." The screen showed more terrible images. Dead worlds with gray skies. Broken cities covered in strange slime. Ships trying to escape from giant monsters in space. Dr. Maya Singh ran into the room. She was Earth's expert on alien technology. Her small Pomeranian princess was in her arms. The little dog was shaking. "The energy beings are gone too," Maya said. Her voice was shaky. The luminals tried to fight back. Their light weapons did nothing. The Biotitans absorbed the energy and grew stronger. Jake felt cold fear in his stomach. "Are any coalition species still alive?" "Some," Maya said, "but not many. They're all running toward one place." "Where?" Alex asked. Maya looked at the floor. "Here. They're coming to Earth." The room went quiet. Even the dog seemed to understand something bad was happening. Buddy got up and pressed against Jake's leg. Rex moved closer to Alex. Princess whimpered in Maya's arms. "Why Earth?" Dr. Lisa asked. "We're the most primitive world in the coalition." "That's exactly why," Maya said. "The Biotitans have eaten all the advanced worlds first. Earth is the only planet they haven't found yet." Alex stood up and walked to the window. Outside, he could see Earth's blue skies and green forests. "So we're the last safe place in the galaxy." "For now," Jake said. "But if these things ate entire star empires, what chance do we have?" Dr. Lisa pulled up more information on her computer. "The first refugee ships will arrive in 2 days. We need to prepare camps for millions of aliens." "Millions?" Alex said. "Where will we put them all?" "Anywhere we can," Jake said. "They helped us join the galaxy. Now we help them." Maya set Princess down on the floor. The little dog immediately ran to Buddy and Rex. The 3 dogs touched noses, like they were having their own meeting. "There's something else," Maya said. "The Biotitans are getting bigger. Each one learns from the last fight. They adapt to new weapons and defenses. How big is the one that might come here?" Alex asked. Maya's face went even more pale. "The last reports said 3 kilometers long. That's bigger than any mountain." Jake felt his knees go weak. 3 kilometers? "And growing," Maya said. "It feeds on everything it touches. The more it eats, the bigger it gets." Alex knelt down to pet Rex. "What weapons work against these things?" "None," Dr. Lisa said. "Every species tried their best technology. Energy weapons make them stronger. Projectile weapons bounce off their skin. Nuclear bombs just give them more energy to grow." "Then how do we fight them?" Jake asked. "I don't know," Dr. Lisa said. "Maybe we can't." The dogs seemed to sense their humans' fear. Buddy walked over to Dr. Lisa and put his head on her lap. Rex nuzzled Alex's hand. Princess climbed back into Maya's arms. "The aliens were right about one thing," Alex said sadly. "Dogs won't help us against monsters like this." Jake looked down at Buddy. The golden retriever's brown eyes were calm and trusting. Maybe not, but at least we won't die alone. 2 days. Later, the first alien refugee ships arrived. They came in battered vessels that looked ready to fall apart. The proud coalition members who had once looked down on humans now begged for shelter. Zektar was on the first ship. When he saw Jake at the landing pad, the big alien fell to his knees. "Please," he said, "my people have nowhere else to go." Jake helped the alien stand up. "You are welcome here." "Even after how we treated you?" Zektar asked. "Especially because of that," Jake said. "We know what it feels like to be looked down on." More ships arrived every hour. Crystal beings, insect people, energy forms in special suits. They all came to Earth looking for safety. The humans worked day and night to build camps and find food for everyone. But in the deep space beyond Earth's solar system, something else was coming. The largest biotitan ever created was following the refugee ships. It had learned the location of the last safe world in the galaxy dot, and it was very, very hungry. Earth had become a very different place in just 2 weeks. Alien refugee camps covered every continent. Strange beings that humans had only dreamed about now lived in their backyards. The Zephyrians built tall towers in the deserts. The Vortani grew crystal gardens in the mountains. The surviving Kresh made underground hives. Colonel Ryan Brooks stood in the war room deep under Washington, D.C. His Rottweiler Max lay by his feet, watching everything with smart eyes. Ryan was looking at a giant map of Earth's defenses. Red dots showed where weapons were placed. It was not enough. Not nearly enough. "The Biotitan will be here in 3 days," said Dr. Emma Johnson. She was Earth's best animal doctor, but the government had asked her to help with the war planning. Her border collie Mix Lucy sat next to Max. The 2 dogs had become friends. 3 days to prepare for a 3-kilometer monster," Ryan said. "Our biggest missiles are like bee stings to that thing." Ambassador Zektar stood in the corner of the room. The proud Zephyrian looked older and more tired every day. "You should evacuate," he said quietly. "Take your people and run to the far side of the galaxy." "And go where?" Jake Morrison asked. He had been put in charge of human-alien cooperation. Buddy lay at his feet, calm as always. "You said the Biotitans are everywhere." "At least you would have more time." Zektar said. Commander Alex Turner shook his head. "We don't run. This is our home." His German Shepherd Rex lifted his head and looked at Alex. The dog seemed to understand the serious tone in his human's voice. Dr. Maya Singh was working at a computer in the corner. Her small Pomeranian princess was asleep in a basket next to her desk. "I've been studying the Biotitan data from other worlds," she said. "Every species tried the same things. Big weapons, energy shields, space fleets. And they all failed," Ryan said. "Yes, but maybe that's the problem," Maya said. "Everyone fought the same way, like it was a normal war." Dr. Emma looked up from her notes. "What do you mean?" Maya turned her computer screen toward the group. It showed pictures of the Biotitan. "Look at this thing. It's not a machine. It's alive. It breathes, it eats, it probably sleeps." "So?" Zektar asked. "So we need to think like it's an animal, not a weapon," Emma said. Her eyes got bright with an idea. "Maya, you're brilliant." "I don't understand," Jake said. Emma stood up and walked to the center of the room. Lucy followed her, tail wagging. "What do you do when you hunt a dangerous animal?" "You use bigger guns," Ryan said. "No," Emma said. "You study it. You learn how it thinks. You find out what it fears." Alex leaned forward in his chair. "The aliens already tried that. They learned everything they could about Biotitans. But they learned with machines and computers," Emma said. "What if we Used something else? She knelt down and petted Lucy. The dog's tail wagged faster. Dogs have senses we don't have. They can smell things we can't smell. They can hear sounds we can't hear. Zektar made his rough laughing sound. You want to? Use your toy pets against a bio-titan? They're not toys, Jake said. His voice was getting angry. Emma held up her hand for quiet. Let me show you something. She took out a small device and put it on the table. This makes a sound too high for humans to hear. She pressed a button. The humans heard nothing. But all the dogs in the room lifted their heads. Their ears pointed toward the device. Dogs can hear sounds between 20 and 65,000 cycles per second, Emma said. Humans can only hear up to 20,000. Interesting, Dr. Maya said. But how does that help us? Emma smiled. What if the biotitan makes sounds we can't hear? What if it leaves scent trails our machines can't detect? Ryan was starting. To understand, you want to use dogs as early warning systems. More than that, Emma said. I want to use them as scouts, as trackers, as our eyes and ears. Zektar shook his head. This is foolish. Your small creatures would be killed instantly. Maybe, Emma said, but maybe not. The biotitan is used to fighting big things. Warships, armies, cities. It might not notice something as small as a dog. Jake looked down at Buddy. The golden retriever looked back at him with trusting brown eyes. You want to send our dogs into battle against that monster? I want to give them a chance to help, Emma said. Dogs have been helping humans for thousands of years. They've saved more human lives than any weapon we ever built. Alex petted Rex's head. What would you need to do this? Emma pulled out a folder full of papers. I've been working on something for the past week. Special equipment for dogs. Better protection, better communication, enhanced senses. She showed them pictures of dog-sized armor and helmets. Lightweight, but strong. With cameras so we can see what they see. With sensors to boost their natural abilities. This is madness, Zektar said. But he was looking at the papers with interest. Dr. Maya studied the designs. These are actually quite clever. You're treating the dogs like tiny soldiers. The best soldiers, Emma said. Loyal, brave, and smart. They would die for their humans without question. The room got quiet. Everyone was thinking about sending their beloved pets into terrible danger. Ryan broke the silence. How many dogs? Would you need? As many as we can get, Emma said. Military dogs, police dogs, family pets. Every dog that's brave enough and trusting enough. Jake felt his heart hurt. The idea of putting Buddy in danger made him sick. But he also remembered the alien ships full of refugees. Millions of beings who had lost everything. The Biotitan will kill everyone if we do nothing, he said quietly. Yes, Emma said, but maybe, just maybe, our dogs can find a way to stop it. Zektar walked over to the window. Outside, he could see alien children playing with human children. A young Zephyrian was throwing a stick for a Labrador. On my world, we had no animals like your dogs, he said. We thought emotion was weakness. He turned back to the group. Perhaps we were wrong. Alex stood up. How long do you need to prepare? 2 days, Emma said. If we work around the clock, then we better get started, Ryan said. Max barked once, like he was agreeing. As the meeting broke up, Jake knelt down next to Buddy. I'm sorry, boy. I wish there was another way. Buddy licked Jake's face and wagged his tail. He didn't understand the danger coming. He only knew that his human needed him. All over Earth, the same scene was happening. Humans were asking their dogs to do the impossible. And the dogs, being dogs, were ready to try. In the deep black of space, the Biotitan continued its journey toward Earth. It had no idea that it was about to face something it had never encountered before, the power of the bond between humans and their best friends. The morning sky over Earth was clear and blue, but that changed in just seconds. A dark shape fell from space like a burning mountain. It crashed into the Pacific Ocean with a sound that shook the whole planet. Waves as tall as buildings spread. Out from where it hit the water, Lieutenant Sam Collins stood on the deck of the aircraft carrier USS Liberty. His Belgian Malinois chief wore the new armor Dr. Emma had designed. The dog looked ready for battle, but his eyes stayed calm and focused. Sam had trained with Chief for 3 years. They trusted each other completely. "All units, this is command," came the voice on Sam's radio. "The Biotitan has landed. It's bigger than we thought." Sam looked through his binoculars at the crash site. The ocean was boiling around something huge. "How much bigger?" he asked. 4 kilometers long and growing," Command replied. "It's already started changing the water around it." Dr. Peter Hayes was in the ship's laboratory below deck. His Labrador. Rosie wore a special vest full of sensors. Peter had been working without sleep for 2 days to get ready for this moment. "The chemical readings are off the charts," he told his team. "The creature is releasing toxins into the water." Back in the command center, Jake Morrison watched the screens with growing fear. Buddy sat next to him, wearing his own set of gear. The golden retriever seemed to sense the danger in the air. "Conventional forces are moving into position," reported Colonel Ryan Brooks. His Rottweiler Max was ready for deployment too. But based on what happened to other worlds, they won't last long. Ambassador Zektar stood behind the humans, watching everything. His yellow eyes were wide with remembered terror. "It will come out of the water soon," he said. "Then it will start to feed." As if hearing his words, the ocean around the crash. Sight began to change color. The blue water turned brown, then black. Steam rose from the surface. "It's changing the chemistry of the entire ocean," Dr. Maya Singh reported from her station. Her Pomeranian princess was too small for armor, but she wore a tiny camera to help with reconnaissance. Commander Alex Turner was already in a helicopter with Rex. "Air units are in position," he radioed. "We can see movement in the water." Then it happened. The Biotitan rose from the ocean like an island coming to life. Its massive head broke the surface first. The thing looked like a cross between a whale and a centipede. Its skin was black and covered with sharp spines. Hundreds of tentacles writhed around its mouth. "Dear God," Sam whispered. Chief whined softly and pressed against his leg. The monster's roar could be heard for thousands of miles. Windows broke in cities across the Pacific. The sound made everyone's bones hurt. But it didn't stop the humans and their dogs from moving forward. "All conventional units attack." Ryan ordered. Fighter jets screamed toward the Biotitan. They fired missiles and energy weapons. The explosions looked tiny against the creature's massive size. The Biotitan barely seemed to notice. Ships in the ocean fired their biggest guns. Artillery on nearby islands shot everything they had. Nuclear submarines launched their most powerful torpedoes. Nothing worked. The Biotitan's skin absorbed the energy from the weapons. Where missiles hit, the creature grew new armor. It was learning from every attack. "Conventional forces are pulling back," reported a voice on the radio. "Heavy casualties. The creature is advancing toward the California coast." In the command center, Dr. Emma Johnson took a deep breath. "It's time," she said. "Deploy the dog units." Jake knelt down next to Buddy. The golden retriever looked up at him with complete trust. "I know you don't understand what's happening, boy, but we need you to be brave." Buddy licked Jake's face and wagged his tail. All around the Pacific, teams of humans and dogs moved into action. They traveled in small boats and helicopters. Their job was not to fight the Biotitan directly. Their job was to get close enough to study it. Sam and Chief were in the first boat to approach the creature. The water around them was turning strange. Colors. The air smelled like rotten eggs and burned metal. The toxins are getting stronger, Sam reported. His breathing mask was working, but Chief had no protection except his natural resilience. Dogs had stronger immune systems than humans. Chief suddenly barked and pointed toward the water. Sam looked where the dog was indicating. I see something. There are patterns in the creature's movements. Other dog teams were reporting similar findings. The dogs could sense things the electronic sensors missed. They could smell chemicals that machines couldn't detect. They could hear sounds too low or too high for human ears. Dr. Peter and Rosie were studying the creature's biochemistry. The Labrador's enhanced senses were picking up scent trails in the toxic water. Rosie is tracking something, Peter reported. There's a different smell coming from one section of the creature. The Biotitan continued its approach to land. As it moved, it left a trail of dead water behind it. Fish floated to the surface, poisoned by its presence. The creature was 3 miles from the California coast when it stopped. Why did it stop? Jake asked. Dr. Emma was watching all the data from the dog teams. The dogs are finding something. Chief, Rosie, and the others are all focusing on the same area. On his boat, Sam watched Chief carefully. The Malinois was standing very still, his nose pointed toward a specific part of the Biotitan. Chief has found something, Sam radioed. He's indicating the area behind the creature's head. Other dogs in other boats were doing the same thing. Rex was barking in a specific pattern from his helicopter. Max was growling at the same section of the creature. They're all pointing to the same spot, Dr. Emma realized. There must be something important there. The Biotitan began to rise higher out of the water. Its front section came up like a mountain. That's when the dogs detected something new. Chief is hearing something, Sam reported. A sound we can't hear. Dr. Peter checked his instruments. Rosie is detecting a different chemical signature from that area, much stronger than the rest. In the command center, Dr. Emma put the pieces together. That's it, she said. That's the creature's nerve center, its brain. How can you be sure? Zektar asked. Because the dogs found it, Emma said. Dogs can detect things our best technology misses. They can sense the electrical activity of a living brain. The Biotitan was now close enough to shore that its tentacles could touch the beach. It began to extend them toward land, ready to start feeding on Earth itself. All units focus on the area the dogs identified, Jake ordered. We have one chance at this. But as the human forces moved to attack the creature's weak spot, the Biotitan did something unexpected. It turned toward the dog teams. The creature had somehow realized that the small animals were directing the attack. It's targeting our people, Sam shouted as a massive tentacle rose from the water toward his boat. Chief barked once and jumped from the boat into the toxic water. The brave dog swam straight toward the Biotitan, drawing its attention away from his human dot. All around the creature, other dogs were making the same choice. They were swimming and flying directly toward the monster, sacrificing themselves to give their humans a chance. The Biotitan was confused. It was used to fighting armies and fleets. It didn't understand why these tiny creatures were attacking it without fear. But the humans understood. They understood exactly what their dogs were doing, and they loved them for it. Chief swam through the poisonous water toward the massive Biotitan. The Belgian Malinois was scared, but he had a job to do. His human Sam needed him. Behind him, other dogs were doing the same thing. They came from the air, from boats, from underwater vehicles, all of them swimming toward the monster. "No," Sam shouted from his boat. "Chief, come back." But Chief could not hear him anymore. The dog was focused on something else. His enhanced senses were picking up signals from inside the Biotitan. The creature's brain was calling to him somehow. Lieutenant Sam Collins watched his best friend swim toward certain death. Tears ran down his face inside his mask. But he also felt proud. Chief was the bravest soldier he had ever known. Dr. Peter Hayes was crying too as he watched Rosie paddle through the toxic water. The Labrador had been his companion for 6 years. Now she was swimming straight into danger to save everyone on Earth. The dogs are doing something, Dr. Emma Johnson said from the command center. She was watching all the camera feeds from the dog units. They're not just attacking randomly. They're working together. Jake Morrison held Buddy tight. His golden retriever was supposed to be in the water too, but Jake couldn't let him go. What do you mean, working together? Emma pointed at the screens. Look at the pattern. The dogs from the north are swimming to one spot. The dogs from the south are going to another spot. They're surrounding the creature's nerve center. Colonel Ryan Brooks was watching his Rottweiler Max fly toward the Biotitan in a small drone. It's like they planned this, he said with wonder. Maybe they did, Emma said. Dogs are pack animals. They know how to hunt together. The Biotitan was getting angry. It swatted at the small creatures swimming around it. Its massive tentacles crashed into the water, trying to catch them. But the dogs were too fast and too small. They slipped between the creature's defenses like tiny torpedoes. Chief was the first to reach the Biotitan's skin. The dog's armor protected him from the creature's acid. His small size let him crawl into spaces too small for the monster's tentacles to reach. Other dogs followed. Rex squeezed through a gap in the creature's armor. Rosie found a crack near what looked like a breathing hole. Max landed on top of the creature and started digging through its thick skin. They're getting inside, Sam reported. His voice was full of amazement and sadness. In the command center, Ambassador Zektar was staring at the screens. This is impossible, he said. Nothing this small should be able to hurt a Biotitan. You're wrong, Jake said. Size doesn't matter when you have heart. Inside the Biotitan, the dogs were following their noses toward the creature's brain. The passages were dark and full of poisonous gas. But their equipment protected them, and their courage kept them moving. Chief was in the lead. He could smell something that made all his instincts go crazy. It was the scent of the creature's control center, the place where it made decisions, the place that had to be destroyed. The dog teams on the surface were watching everything through the cameras. Chief is 50 meters from the target, Sam reported. Rosie is coming from the other side. Dr. Emma was coordinating the attack. When they reach the brain center, they'll plant the explosive charges. But the dogs won't be able to get out in time. Everyone in the command center went quiet. They all understood what that meant. They know, Jake said softly. The dogs know this is a one-way trip. On the screens, they could see Chief crawling through a narrow tunnel. The dog's camera showed thick walls covered in what looked like veins. The Biotitan's heart was beating all around him. Rex was coming from another direction. The German shepherd had to squeeze through spaces barely big enough for his body, but he kept going. His human Alex needed him to succeed. Rosie found a different path. The Labrador was following her nose through passages that twisted and turned. Her tail was still wagging. Even facing death, she was happy to help her human Peter. They're converging on the target, Emma reported. All dogs are within 10 meters of the brain center. The Biotitan suddenly stopped moving. It could sense that something was wrong inside its body. The creature began to shake itself, trying to get rid of the small invaders, but it was too late. Chief had reached the nerve center first. The dog's camera showed a massive chamber filled with pulsing brain tissue. This was the creature's control room. Chief looked directly into his camera. For a moment, It seemed like he was looking at Sam. The dog's brown eyes were calm and brave. Then he pressed the button on his explosive pack with his nose. The other dogs did the same thing. Rex, Rosie, Max, and dozens of other brave dogs all triggered their charges at the same time. The explosions were small compared to the Biotitans' size, but they happened in exactly the right place. The creature's brain center was destroyed in seconds. The Biotitan let out a roar that shook the ocean. But this time, it was a roar of pain and confusion. The creature's massive body began to thrash wildly. "It's working," Dr. Maya Singh shouted. "The creature's nervous system is shutting down." The Biotitan was like a giant computer that had lost its main processor. Its body kept moving, but it had no brain to guide it. The creature crashed back into the ocean, sending waves in all directions. For several minutes, the monster writhed in the water. Then, slowly, it began to sink. The Biotitan that had destroyed entire worlds was dying. "The toxin levels are dropping," Peter reported. "The creature's chemical weapons have stopped working." Jake was crying as he watched the Biotitan disappear under the waves. Buddy licked his face, trying to comfort him. "They did it, boy. Our friends saved everyone." All around the Pacific, humans were cheering and crying at the same time. They had won, but the victory had cost them their most loyal friends. Ambassador Zeke Tar stood quietly for a long moment. Then he did something no human had ever seen a Zephyrian do. He knelt down on the floor. "I was wrong," he said. "Your dogs were not toys. They were heroes." In the days that followed, Earth became the new center of the Galactic Coalition. The surviving alien species wanted to learn from humans. They wanted to understand the bond between people and their animal companions. Doctor Emma Johnson started a new program to train animals from other worlds. The Zephyrians brought reptiles that could sense magnetic fields. The Vortani shared crystals that could grow into living partners. But no species had anything quite like dogs. The combination of intelligence, loyalty, and bravery that had saved the galaxy was unique to Earth. Jake Morrison became the first human ambassador to the galaxy. At his swearing-in ceremony, he wore a special medal. It was small and simple, just like the one that Buddy wore around his neck. "Today, we honor not just the humans who fought," Jake said to the gathered aliens and refugees. "We honor the dogs who died to save us all. They showed the galaxy that love is stronger than fear, that loyalty is more powerful than any weapon." Buddy barked once from the audience. The sound made everyone smile, even the aliens who were still learning to understand human emotions. Zetar approached Jake after the ceremony. The Zephyrian looked different now. His scales were brighter, and his eyes were less cold. "My people are learning to keep companions too," he said. "We have found small lizards that show affection. It is pleasant." Jake petted Buddy's head. "Dogs taught us that we're never alone if we have someone who loves us." "Yes," Zektar said. "This is a lesson the galaxy needed to learn." As the months passed, Earth became a place of healing. The refugee camps turned into permanent cities. Human children played with alien youngsters. And everywhere you looked, you could see people walking with their animal companions. The Biotitans never returned. Some scientists thought it was because their creators had been destroyed. But Jake had a different theory. Maybe the Biotitans had learned something too. Maybe they had seen what love could do and decided that some things were too precious to destroy. On the first anniversary of the Battle of Earth, they built a monument in the Pacific Ocean. It showed a human soldier kneeling next to a dog. The inscription was simple: "To Chief, Rex, Rosie, Max, and all the brave dogs who gave their lives for the galaxy. They were good dogs, the best dogs, and they will never be forgotten." Buddy sat next to Jake as they dedicated the monument. The golden retriever was older now, with some gray in his fur, but his eyes were still bright and trusting. "Do you miss them, boy?" Jake asked. Buddy looked at him and wagged his tail. Dogs don't dwell on sadness. They live in the moment, loving their humans with all their hearts. That night, Jake dreamed about Chief and the other hero dogs. In his dream, they were running through fields of grass under an alien sun. They were playing and barking and being happy. When he woke up, Buddy was sleeping next to his bed. The dog's feet were moving like he was running in his sleep. Maybe he was dreaming about the same field. The galaxy was safe. Earth was home to millions of beings from hundreds of worlds. And somewhere in the deep of space, the story was being told of the day that toy dogs saved everyone. It was a good story. The kind of story that made people want to go home and hug their pets a little tighter. Because in the end, that's what mattered most. Not the size of your weapons or the power of your technology. What mattered was having someone who would never give up on you. Someone who would swim through poisonous water and crawl through dark tunnels just to keep you safe. Someone who would love you no matter what. The aliens had laughed at humanity's dogs, but humanity had the last laugh, and it was full of love.